This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, how there, ho there. It's Jeff Gooder Diving. Welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. And the birthday boy for today, December the 7th, is a Cincinnati Reds icon. He played all his career with the Cincinnati Reds. He was their catcher, the Big Red Machine era of the 1970s. He lasted 16 years with one team. That's hard to do. He excelled on offense as well, even winning a pair of NL MVPs, which was amazing for a catcher. He actually had the major league record for home runs by a catcher before Mike Piazza took care of that, and actually had the record for most home runs as a catcher in one season until Salvador Perez broke that mark in 2021. He still has the most home runs and RBIs in Reds history. Surprised that Pete Rose doesn't have other of that mark. He was named the greatest catcher in baseball history. He is Johnny Bench. Johnny Bench is 75 years old. He actually is one-eighth Choctaw, a Native American people in the southeastern woodlands. Anyway, his father said he should be a catcher because that will get you to the major leagues faster. And he was picked in the second round of the 1965 amateur draft by the Cincinnati Reds. Now, what's funny is that the first pick in was it 65 or was it 66 that was a catcher? I think it was 66, sorry. I'm screwed up. Anyhow, regardless. Anyway, in the 1967 season, when he was called up to the Reds, he actually hit a grand slam against Jim Palmer, who would never allow a grand slam in the major leagues. Oh, but that was in the amateurs, yes. Bench was called up to the Reds in August of 67 and could not bat that well. However, he still has good defense and strong throwing arm. And, that's still pretty good, too. Ted Williams said that Johnny Bench could be a Hall of Famer for sure. And Williams' prophecy is true. Anyway. Johnny Bench actually caught a no-hitter by the Reds' Jim Maloney in 1969. He impressed a lot of people in his first full season in 1968. He won the National League Rookie of the Year by 275, 15 home runs, 82 RBIs. The first catcher to do so with Rookie of the Year. He did pretty well for himself. Bench was serving the U.S. Army Reserve alongside Pete Rose, Bobby Tolan, and Darrell Chaney. And thankfully for him, he didn't have to go into the Vietnam War. In 1970, in his third full season in the majors, he was amazing. He was 22, the youngest player to win the NL MVP award, and most surprisingly, he was a catcher when he did it. He batted .293, was the National League home run leader with 45 home runs. The first time in either the AL or NL, a catcher led the league in home runs. And he put up 148 RBIs, which was the Reds' record, as the Reds won the NL West. They did lose to Baltimore in 5 games in the World Series, so not good. However, in 72, he also helped out winning the MVP award for the second time. And that was the year the Reds came from behind in Game 5 of the NLCS in 72 to beat the Pirates and go to the World Series. Well, Johnny Bench was the hero. He hit that home run over the right field wall to tie the game, and then Bob Moose's wild pitch ended it. So Johnny Bench knew what he could do. It was one of the most clutch home runs of all time, obviously. Well, Bench led the NL in home runs and RBIs, 40 and 125 respectively. The Reds did lose Game 7 to the A's in the World Series. Johnny Bench would not hit the heights of his 40 home run season, which was weird. But anyway, he still helped the Reds shock everyone by taking care of the LA Dodgers in the division, even down by 10 games to win the division. Sadly, though, the upstart New York Mets beat them in 5 games. Johnny Bench would hit a bottom of the ninth home run in Game 1 of the NLCS against the Reds to win the game, but unfortunately, that wasn't there and all that. Bench would put up 129 RBIs, leading the NL in 74. But the Reds could not believe their luck. They won 98 games, the second most of the majors, but sadly the team that was above them was the LA Dodgers in their own division. Bench would put up 110 RBIs in 1975. That was the start of the Big Red Machine crushing everyone through and through. They swept the Pirates in the NLCS. They went to that famous 75 World Series, won Game 7 on Fenway Park, hollow turf. However, Johnny Bench's best mark was 1976 when he was in the World Series against the New York Yankees and put up a .533 batting average. For the months, it went for .529. So the catchers were hitting the ball quite well. Bench put up 2 home runs in the World Series. Reds got a sweep, and Bench was named Series MVP. It was amazing and all that. Bench would put up another few good 100 RBI seasons in the late 70s. In the 80s, he would actually stop being a catcher at times and would play first or third base. On Johnny Bench night, September 17, 1983, he hit his final home run of his career, his 389th, and he would retire at the end of the season. Bench put up over 2,000 hits in his career, batting .267, 389 home runs, 1,376 RBIs, all with the Reds. So his catching home run leadership was snapped by Carlton Fisk and then by Piazza. Bench still has a major league record. Most grand slams by a catcher with 10. He earned 10 gold gloves and won 2 MVPs, which was amazing and all that. Johnny Bench blocked baseballs in the dirt by scooping them with one hand instead of the proper way, dropping to both knees. But he scooped them with one hand, making sure that, he did what he could. Bench's number 5 was instantly retired by the Reds upon his retirement in 1984. Bench has been married 4 times, though. He actually married a toothpaste model 4 days after they met. So February 21st was incompatible. And Bench actually wanted his wife to accept an offer to post news for $25,000. Yeah, it was hard and all that. However, Bench would marry an aerobics instructor in 1987, having a son, but divorced in 1995. And Bench's son is a production operator on Reds broadcast. Bench's third marriage was in 1997 and divorced in 2000 based on marital infidelity. And then married in 2004 to Lauren Biaggi, who's the daughter of Hugh Biaggi. They had 2 sons and all that. And Johnny wanted to go to South Florida. So they divorced and Bench has primary custody of the boys. 2006 and 2010. So he was a dad at 63 years old. Wow. That's just weird. But okay. Anyway. Bench was elected to the Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility, 96% of the votes in 1989. He knew what he could do. Anyway, he was in the Baseball Bunch, that syndicated show that showed young baseball players how to do things, and had the San Diego Chicken and Tommy Lasorda also doing those things and all that. So that was funny. Johnny Bench would help ABC do Sunday afternoon baseball telecasts. With Don Drysdale, Bench and Drysdale. Bench would leave ABC to go to CBS Radio to broadcast postseason games. He would do so from 89 to 93. He even was in the NBC radio bench. No, the CBS radio thing when the earthquake hit. The Loma Prieta earthquake, and famously mouthed the words to Toronto's Tom Cheek, who was broadcasting the series back in Canada. 6.9. Bench tried to play in the senior PGA Tour with not much success. He was part of the Major League Baseball All-Century team's top receiving getting catcher. From 2000 to 2018, the best collegiate catcher was given the Johnny Bench Award, and then it was renamed the Buster Posey Award for some strange reason. Anyway, he was part of Yes Dear. I always wondered what that show was. Had 6 seasons. I don't know what the premise was. I've heard about this Yes Dear, but I don't know what the premise is. So, the premise of it was a successful businessman in the film industry and his stay-at-home wife do their best to become the perfect parents to their young son and daughter. And things are difficult because the main characters, well, his sister-in-law and her husband move into the guest house with their 2 rambunctious boys. Okay. All that. And they had a connection with Raising Hope. Well, regardless, I mean, it was a good show. And Johnny Bench was actually featured on The Simpsons. Well, he was mentioned. Because of one episode in which Homer thinks that prayer is going to help him get everything in life. He actually prays for a new breakfast treat. And then I think some chocolate bar thing bumped into a truck with Johnny Bench's bacon and all that. Having a caricature of the Cincinnati Reds catcher with a piece of bacon as his bat. But yeah, I remember that. But anyway, yeah, Johnny Bench did just that and have Cincinnati become the big red machine. Why not? Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.